Now that was quite the open ending of 91 Days. So, it's left up to the viewer to speculate what that ending means. And to be honest, at this time, I personally don't know how I really feel. Like, I don't know if I like the open-end nature of the show, or if I hate the open ending of 91 Days. Regardless, though, let's talk about it. That's probably one of the biggest things that many want to discuss when it comes to this finale of the series. And so let's just dive headfirst into that discussion. So the open ending of 91 Days is left making us speculate, did Angelo die? Is he dead? Because there's a lot of key signs to say he's dead, and there's a lot of key signs to say he is alive. There's a lot, and it's left up to the viewer to determine what they want. But let's look at what we have here, the details. So, one of the big things about this episode was that Nero and Angelo, they went on a journey, a brief journey to go to the ocean. And we get to see some conversation, like a combo between these two as they're journeying, and how eventually Angelo says that his quest for vengeance, what he wanted when he hunted down Nero's family, killed everybody, he thought he might find a new reason to live on. Like, he might find a reason to continue on living. But after killing everyone, he doesn't have the reason. He feels empty. He feels like a husk right now. And so he has no reason to continue moving forward. And he's like, one of the biggest pains he's ever dealt with his life is because he continued on living and experienced so much pain because he wanted to get vengeance. Because he lost his family, he was the only one left. And that was one part of the combo. And eventually Nero, he's kind of in that, situation right now. He knows what Angelo is going through because Angelo did what, Nero did to his family is what happened to, Nero now. So Nero, he understands where Angelo is coming from. He understands what Angelo is saying is like, I feel empty after getting my vengeance, that there's just nothing for me. I have no reason to live. I mean, Nero, he's lost everything as well. He's lost all of his family. He's lost his brothers. He's lost his sister. He's lost everyone. He has no one left. And, I mean, he lost his entire family. He no longer can be a part of the mafia. He's on the run. He cannot go to the town. So, just overall, Nero has lost everything as well. He no longer can be in the status he once was. It's very similar to what's going on with Angelo. So, when Angelo's talking about himself, it's kind of like he is talking about Nero, too. What's going on currently in Nero's mind. And so he's like, even if you were to kill me and get your vengeance and slaughter me right now, doesn't mean you'll feel better. Doesn't mean you'll find a new reason to live. That's pretty much what Angelo stated. Now, the episode continues on and all that, and eventually gets to the point to where we're on the beach scene. You see it to where Angelo and Nero are walking, and eventually Angelo surpasses Nero and he walks past him, and then Nero pulls out his gun and he's about to shoot him. Now, in this dynamic, we hear a gunshot. We know there is a gunshot that happens at this time, but we don't know if the gunshot hits Angelo or not. And when we get the, ending sequence, when we get the ending song, when we see the beach, you don't see any blood stain. You don't see any blood on the ground. You don't see Angelo's body or anything like that. So, there's a couple of things you can, take from this. For one, maybe, Angelo's body got washed out into the sea because of, high tide. Maybe his body got dragged out, and then that's where his body went. Or maybe, Angelo was fine, the gunshot missed, and he managed to just walk off and leave, and thanks to the tide, the footprints, just got swept away, which we were seeing in the, ending song. I mean, there's a lot of things you could take from this, but overall, though, you have it to where Nero, when he gets back into his car, he looks over to his right in the seats, and you just see a can, and then he smiles. And this lets us know that Nero is not traveling with Angelo at all. But he does smile, so he feels some form of, completion of whatever he just did. And so you don't know if that means that he's happy that he killed Angelo, that he found a new reason to live, or if, he let him live because he's happy and letting, Angelo live his life in pain, and that's a greater punishment than, actually dying. Because, think about this. Angelo right now, he has no reason to live, and he wants to kind of die. He doesn't give a shit anymore. And what type of punishment, I guess, you could give him for a man that wants to die and has nothing than to force him to continue on living? For instance, he already experiences pain because he's already lost everything. I mean, if you keep this man continue on to live, he'll experience greater pain. So maybe that's what Angelo is going through right now. That's what Nero was smiling about. Maybe he's happy because, Angelo is going to continue on living. He didn't kill him, and he'll have to suffer. And if he does want to die, he'll have to do it himself. Someone else will not pull that trigger for him. And so that's why Nero was happy. Or, vice versa, Nero's happy because he shot him, and he can carry on with his life, and he found, new motivation or whatever. So, the open-ending nature of 91 Days, like I said, at this time, I really don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I like that type of ending, or if I hate it. And, I mean, overall, I feel like if I watch it again and I take time to think about it, I don't think I will dislike it, but I don't think I will truly say it's 10 out of 10 either. Like, I love that. I won't say that either. But it was enjoyable. And I have to say, in terms of a Mafia-style anime and the way it was kind of, ambiguous with the ending, I'm fine with it. I enjoyed watching Angelo go down his path of vengeance, and then finally claiming what he wanted, and then realizing all he wanted was kind of for nothing, because now he's empty. So, I mean, we got what we wanted. What we set out to get, for instance, what we started this series for, Angelo to kill, Nero's family, we got that, with this conclusion. So, in terms of completing the goal and satisfying me on that end, it did a good job of that. So, I'm actually satisfied on the aspect of giving us what we wanted since the very beginning of the series. And I guess you could say more or less that this was an epilogue episode. This was an episode to kind of give us more clarification on the whereabouts of some of our characters or what they might do. And last week's episode was our goal accomplished, what we wanted from the series. So yeah, 91 Days. Overall, as an anime, I enjoyed it. I would like to see more series like this. I would. I mean, maybe not as open-ended, but I mean, I still like the direction 91 Days took, especially with its story, to the characters and stuff like that. If there's only one thing I really want to complain about, though, about the series, is that the overall art and animation definitely dropped in the, second half of the series. It really dropped heavy. And, I mean, I noticed it a lot in this episode and last episode before that. I just, I personally prefer a good story, but since this is the final episode of the series, I can finally just say my overall thoughts on it. So, the art and animation, overall, it definitely wasn't the best, because there were scenes even in this final episode, like, right towards the beginning, if you go back and watch, you'll see it for yourself, when you had to where Angelo was sitting at the table, and when, he was getting fed food, you heard the sound effects in the background of the person trying to get the food from, Angelo, but we didn't get to see that struggle at all, when the dude probably grabbed this man's shoulder and was like, hey, what you doing? We didn't get to see that at all. We just see this man in the next frame that's just chowing down on Angelo's food. So, there was a lot of key scenes throughout, the recent episodes of 91 Days that had, I guess, sound effects or, voices and stuff when the frames weren't even showing that sound. For instance, let's say you're a character walking. Usually you expect to see a character walking on the screen. We didn't see that for this series. You had to where some scenes where some characters would be talking, you don't even see them on the screen. You just see, maybe, say, Angelo with his mouth closed just staring, and you don't see the person that's currently talking. So there was a lot of things to kind of cut corners in this series when it came to making frames, art, and animation of the series, but that's only one of my big complaints about the series. Besides that, it was a good story. Not the best, but it was a good story. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.